Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today we got a wonderful match preview for you guys with another massive Premier League title race clash. Of course, we already had the Liverpool game earlier in the season, and we did have the Manchester City Arsenal game earlier in the season where Arsenal won. Back-to-back wins for Arsenal in these games against title race teams. Maybe we can do it again, but this time we faced a juggernaut, Manchester City, a team that humiliated us the last two times we played them in the league last year in those crucial games. This time, hopefully, it's a different Arsenal with a different mentality. And I got Nobbins in the house with me. My man here is doing great things. One of the best productions of shows I've seen an individual do by themselves. I got to give it up to you, bro. Your tactical breakdown show, unmatched to anybody else that I've seen on YouTube. But how you doing, bro?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, it's a title-defining game for sure. We'll have great ramifications for City, Arsenal, and of course Liverpool as well. So yeah, excited to chat about it. Let's get into it.
There you go. Let's get into it. And I'm going to be adding everybody on X and on YouTube. Do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And of course, check out Nobbins' channel also. If I'm not mistaken, you're doing YouTube full time. Am I wrong?
That's correct. Yes. So I do. If you like analysis videos, I am the channel for you. It is primarily Man City, to be fair, but I would like to also branch out into more neutral games as well, as and when they arise. So stay tuned for those.
The Euros coming around, so just maybe the perfect timing where you can do 100%. England content also. Are you English, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, indeed, yes. So, in fact, my most recent YouTube video was how I thought Pep Guardiola would set up England, which I thought was quite interesting. So, yeah, hopefully with the Euros, lots of good stuff to talk about from a tactical perspective there, of course.
There you go. Let me ask you, if you don't mind me asking, what got you into YouTube? Because I never ended up asking you. I know, if I don't remember correctly, your family got you into Man City, if I'm not mistaken, because we did speak about this last time you were on the show. But I never asked you what got you into YouTube, because I know you had a different profession before this.
So I'm a generational City fan. So we've been City fans since like the 60s sort of time. And my nan used to work for Colin Bell. If anyone knows who he was a massive City legend in the 60s and 70s. She was a waitress in his restaurant. In terms of YouTube, just started out on TikTok and then just branched out into other platforms, and people enjoyed the content, and here we are. I thought I could add value, and people seem to like the stuff, so I keep doing it. Yeah, it's all good.
I got into YouTube because I got into Arsenal content creation at a time where everyone was so negative, and I just seen little moments of light, and I'm like, you know what? I need to come on there and be like, people need to fix up, because there is something starting to happen, and everyone's just upset and angry 24/7. From Unai Emery times to Arsene Wenger times, I was watching, but I never really got into it until the back end of Unai Emery's reign, where I was Unai Emery out, and when Arteta was starting up and everyone was like turning on him so quickly. That's where I really would say my big following came from, was being a staunch Arteta backer and really being there from the beginning, making sure people realized that this was always going to be a process, a long-term thing.
And now you've been proven correct.
Yeah, a lot of those people that I argued with are now saying they're going to build him a statue if he wins us a Champions League. so it's an interesting time as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, you invested in his stocks early on.
What about you? How did you ever think you were going to get to this level where you guys are winning trebles, getting league titles consistently? Like, as a City fan, you've been through a crazy journey. Forget Arsenal.
No, you can't even begin to think about, winning a trophy. Never mind, winning like a league title. Never mind winning a double. Never mind winning the treble. Yeah, like when you're in the lower divisions, you sort of dream of just being maybe going on like a decent cup run. So like when we won the FA Cup, like it was 2011, was it? Like that was like the peak, and then just like sort of like went from there. So you can't even begin to think about it. Yes, so City fans, so the City fans who are old enough to remember have been through it, and it's been a great journey, obviously, and it obviously culminated in ultimately winning the treble last year. But we're still hungry for more. I'm a greedy man, and I want us to win 4 in a row.
I do see a different dynamic between City fans that were there from time and City fans that are now like joining the rankings. A lot of the newer City fans I'll see, they're more impatient, more like Twitter. where they're just trying to get at rivals and make fun of them and use City's success as a stick to beat people with. And then I see the older City fans are more just like, I'm basking in the glory, loving life, enjoying the
Yeah, definitely.
and,
Yeah, of
and I don't
course.
think a lot of football fans nowadays get to enjoy the moment. They're so looking forward to the next thing, always looking forward to the next thing. Sometimes you need to just enjoy yourself because you see it after every big win. They're like, you're celebrating like you won the league. Well, we need to win these games to win the league. So let
Yeah.
us celebrate, for God's sake.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, that's what it's all about. You've got to bask in like whatever glory you get, and like whether that's staying up in the Premier League, whether that's getting promoted, or whatever. Like I remember like when I was in Istanbul, I just like sat there for like an hour after the game, just sort of like sat there because I was like, well, this might never happen again. So it's like you just like you bring it in, you soak it in. Sorry, and yeah, that's what we should be doing as football fans, 100%.
There you go. Let's go straight into some of these topics though around the game. I don't know about you, but I've been seeing, I don't know if I should call them mind games, actual injuries. What is really going on with Manchester City's injuries? Because I don't genuinely believe that you have all these players out injured. Reportedly, you have the likes of Ake, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, all injured ahead of this big game. Surely they're all available, in my opinion. Like, there's no way they're all injured.
So I hadn't actually heard about like the Ake injury. As far as I was aware, the question marks were Stones, Walker, Akanji, Ederson, De Bruyne, Grealish. I think they were the question marks. Grealish a question mark because the last game he got injured, so he's not had like a game to get his sharpness back. Stones did something with his abductor on England duty. Kyle Walker again injured on England duty. I think that they were, as far as I'm aware, those are the two players who definitely aren't going to be available on Sunday. Everyone else will be fine. So we've had news like today, for example, that Akanji and Ederson and De Bruyne are all in training for Man City. I thought Ederson was going to be out. That's a nice surprise. I thought Akanji was going to be out. That's a really nice surprise. I don't know if we're going to get into the lineups later on in the stream, but I was like, that last night for just like an hour or so, I was just trying to think, what's the team going to be? Because I couldn't think of a team that would work. But Akanji being back genuinely changes everything, as I'm sure we'll get into. So as I understand it, City will have a full squad outside of Walker and Stones. As far as I'm aware, everyone else should be available, basically. Whether they're at full fitness, that's another question. But in terms of availability, it should just be Stones and Walker who are the absentees.
Honestly, bro, when I see that list, I only think like the only person I'm hearing serious injury doubts is John Stones, no?
Yeah. So Stones is 100% not playing. Yeah, because he's been out for weeks. Walker is a 50-50. He's being quoted as being a serious doubt. So he's like 50-50.
I think Walker is going to be there. And even if he's there, it's advantage Arsenal, in my opinion, because Walker has been shocking for you guys.
Well, I was going to say, I don't particularly want Kyle to. I love Walker, but I don't want him to start because I think he's been a bit of a hindrance throughout the majority of this season. If he's available on the bench, that's great, but I don't want to see him starting. And if he's a 50-50, is it worth risking starting him? I don't think so. We need him for the Real Madrid game. We need him to lock up Vinicius Jr. again. We don't need him for Arsenal. It's not the game for him.
You don't need him for Arsenal. That you make it sound like he's. So you agree with me then? Overall, he has been a hindrance this season.
Walker's been our worst player this season by a fair margin, in my opinion.
I said this the other day. I said he's been your worst captain based on performances in the Pep Guardiola era.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's not been terrible because a bad for Man City standards is still good for like a Premier League standards. But there is no doubt that he's not offered enough going forwards, and he's been played in a more advanced role this season. So that's a double whammy of badness. His usual sort of like what you'd associate with like defensive solidity has not been there this season. There are a number of examples. I mean, there were two back-to-back in the Newcastle game at St. James's Park when he just allowed the opposition forward to cut in on their stronger foot and take a shot. Same thing happened in the Chelsea game. It's happened a number of times this season with like really weird errors. And there's a reason, I keep going back to this, there's a reason why he didn't start the Champions League final. There's a reason he was dropped for that. Clearly, Pep was of the view that he does not make it into our strongest starting 11. And I'm also of that view. Our strongest starting 11, in my view, does not feature Kyle Walker. He's a very specific defender. I would start him against Real Madrid because Vinicius Jr. is the sort of winger he likes to play against. But against Arsenal, no, I don't think so.
So who is your best starting right back? Akanji?
Yes, for me, it's Akanji. Definitely. I've been saying this all season. Again, he started the Champions League final at right back. He's an incredibly intelligent defender. I think he played left back against you guys at the Etihad last season as well, and was fantastic. He's been our best defender this season, whether that's at left back, right back, centre back. He's had a go at doing the John Stones role. Can he do it to Stones' ability? No, but he's still putting a decent effort and a decent showing. Yeah, for me, it's got to be Akanji there. I think that he's the most secure option on the ball, off the ball, and it means that we can now play the starting 11, which I would like to see.
Now, just to let you know, for Arsenal, the Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be fine. He's going to be available. He was taken out of the Brazil team for precautionary reasons. Of course, Ben White didn't go. Bukayo Saka left England camp after a few days. His injury he's going to be fine, in my opinion. Also, the only big risks are, of course, Timber is not back yet. He's going to be back maybe next month, late next month, but not any sooner than that. And Gabriel Magalhaes, his injury is supposed to be a foot injury. Basically, he got a cut on the top of his foot in a game, and his foot has been healing. So it's not like it's a muscle injury or anything like that. It's just a cut that needs to be healed. So we'll see how long it takes for him to get back. But rumor has it he should be back, hopefully, for the game, but maybe on the bench, or I don't know if he's going to be starting. But yeah, that's the update there. And what about there's one more person, Ederson. Ederson's gone, right? Like, he's not playing at all, obviously.
Well, he was in training today.
So do you think a half-fit Ederson is better than a fully fit Ortega?
I think that Ederson is one of our most undervalued players in the eyes of our fan base, in my opinion. Ortega is probably a better shot stopper, but
I got a hot take.
Oh my God, let's hear it.
You don't need him to the level where people think, oh, if you guys have him out for an extended period, there's not going to be a massive drop-off. I think it's going to be a situation where you can manage majority of the games throughout the season because your backup keeper is that good, where if it was a situation where you had Zach Steffen, it wouldn't be the same story. But the fact that there's that little of a drop-off with how good a keeper you have as a backup, we've seen it in the Newcastle game. We've seen it in all these games. I've yet to see that bad of a drop-off. Similar to how Alisson left for Liverpool. I think Alisson is a bigger miss for Liverpool than Ederson would be for yourselves.
Yeah, and that's a testament to how good Ortega is as a backup, and maybe he's the best backup in the Premier League potentially. He'd start for I don't know how many clubs, like at least 8. I feel like off the top of my head. It's more, and there's no denying that Ortega is probably a better shot stopper than Ederson. I think the data would support that. However, what Ederson offers in build-up and distribution and passing, that's where he earns his money. You mentioned the Newcastle game. I totally agree with you that he did pull out some good saves against Newcastle. And I remember there was this one clip going around Twitter, this really good save from Ortega. But the reason that attack started was because Ortega gave the ball away, which I know Ederson wouldn't have done in that scenario. So yes, Ortega is a very good shot stopper, as I say, but especially for a game against Arsenal, where I suspect that you're going to try to press us, we need our most competent ball players on the pitch. So that's why, in my opinion, it's massive that if Ederson is available and fit to start, I think he should, especially if we're, and that's two factors. It's not just like short passes to our defenders and our double pivot. It's also the long balls to, I don't want to say long balls because that suggests like it's inaccurate. Long passes to Haaland, as we saw to great effect last season. So for me, Ederson being back is massive if he is indeed going to be fit to start.
I don't think you can actually look at last season as a barometer on how you're going to be able to play against this Arsenal team, because last season you guys targeted Rob Holding. It was a weak link in the back line. You guys targeted him, you found him, and continuously Haaland made himself known that that was who he's going to try to take advantage of. In the 2 games we went to the Etihad last year, we did not have Saliba in both games, if I'm not mistaken. Rob Holding played in both games against you guys at the Etihad. So I'm just looking at this game and I'm saying to myself, Saliba and Gabriel, there, I don't know if you're going to be able to do the same thing that you did. Also, if you don't have a fully fit Kevin De Bruyne, did you say Kevin De Bruyne might not be fully fit and available?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about De Bruyne. Yeah, he's a question mark. But again, he was in training today, so I assume he's going to start.
So let's look at the tactics quickly. So what do you think would be your suggestion on how you guys would tactically approach this game against Arsenal? Because for me, I've seen us play many different ways this season, and I want to know which one you think would best suit us against you. So one, when we're playing teams away like yourselves, to start the game, we do not try to have majority of the ball. We do not try to boss possession. We do not try to control the game. We just feel out the game, let the opponent touch the ball a lot. And when we have the ball, we try to do quick, precise attacks. Maybe give it to Gabriel, give it to Jorginho to play in behind for Martinelli, or give it to Declan Rice or somebody else to ping it long to a Kai Havertz or somebody else to bring it down to then bring in one of the other wingers. We did not every game do we play a game where we just hold on to possession for 90 minutes and try to outman you. So it's going to be interesting to see how we approach this game, but it could be one of those games where we give you majority of the ball and we just try to nick it is a bad word, but you know what I mean. We just try to stay in the game as long as we can. And when we have our opportunities, we have to be clinical. And I think we did that to a T against certain teams this season. We did it against you, basically, when you came to our house. We gave you the ball.
Yes. I suspect Arteta would be less happy with that strategy because we now have Rodri and De Bruyne on the pitch. We obviously didn't have... Well, if memory serves, our midfield that day at the Emirates was Kovacic, Bernardo, and Lewis, who you wouldn't really associate with being penetrative in their passing or players who are able to, create anything from nothing. They're not particularly dangerous players on the ball in terms of like creating from deep or from the central areas. I would be very surprised if Arteta was happy to give City as much of the ball when we're going to have a much better and more dangerous team. As I say, those game winners being Rodri, De Bruyne, Foden, hopefully if he's played centrally, rather than just shoved out on the left. So I'm not convinced that Arteta's going to be happy to do that. I think that he might. I'm not saying he's going to go like balls to the wall and try to outpress us and destroy us, but I do think that he's going to be less inclined to just back off. I do think that he will be a bit more forward thinking in that press. And I think that maybe that's where City can create those false transitions, or whatever you want to call them, those fake counterattacks where it's out of nowhere City have got Haaland and De Bruyne running at Arsenal's defence, even though City only had the ball of their keeper a moment ago. That's how I'd probably see Arsenal setting up. Again, I'd be very surprised if Arteta succeeded total control and all of the ball to us.
Big up everyone in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think the tactical plan will be from the managers in this game? Do me a favor, hit that like button also if you haven't already done that. It's absolutely free, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say this. You've broken down a lot of your games for City this season, and you know how you guys have approached the games tactically throughout the year. In these big games, what changes do you make, and what changes do you think we'll expect from Pep Guardiola against Arsenal?
So it's really hard because I don't think we've played well in any big game this season outside of the United games. I think that the starting lineup's been wrong, in my view, for nearly every single game, apart from at home against Man United. The main reason for that is because Julian Alvarez has been played in midfield or out wide when he just shouldn't be. I don't think that will happen today. I think that would be suicidal if we did that. So I'm going to have hope and suggest that Pep doesn't do that. I think that he'll have seen what happened at Anfield and gone, right, we looked a bit poo when Kovacic wasn't on the pitch, and then we looked a lot better when he was on the pitch. So for me, So for me, I think that there will be an emphasis more so on control in the midfield rather than chaos, and there's going to be an emphasis on trying to beat Arsenal's man marking press, and the way we can do that is by having our best pocket player in those central zones. And our best pocket player is Phil Foden, and Foden's not played one big game this season in the middle. Every single one he's been shoved out wide. I think this will be the first time we see Foden properly played in his best position, and City have not lost a game this season when Foden's played in midfield.
But then who's going to play on the left?
Well, so would you like me to give you what I think our best team would be based on the options?
Let me just show you what SofaScore has predicted for our two teams. This is what SofaScore has predicted for our two teams on the day. Now, I don't know if Martinelli is going to be available, but I do think Kavior keeps his spot. The back line is correct. David Raya is there. Jorginho, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice. Everything looks sound. Kai Havertz, Saka, Martinelli. I think this is the team that we're going to play. And then the team they have for you is Zach Steffen, Kyle Walker, Akanji, Diaz, Ake. I don't know about that defense. Do you think that's the defense is going to be happening?
I don't know if Walker's going to be fit, so I don't think it would be that.
Okay, and then they got Rodri in the DM position, of course, and then the next four is Bernardo, Julian, Kevin De Bruyne, and Foden. If they play this, I would be very confident because Julian Alvarez has not looked that good in that.
If we play that team, we lose quite comfortably.
Yeah. So what team would you play?
So I'm going to assume that Walker isn't fit, but that Ederson is fit. So I've got Ederson in goal. We are going to, in terms of our settled possession, we're going to go to the box midfield. So we play the 3-2-2-3. The back three is going to be Akanji at right centre back, Diaz central centre back, and then one of Ake or Gvardiol left centre back. Probably is going to have to be Ake. Ahead of them, it should be Kovacic and Rodri in like the double pivot. That gives us the most control and balance on the ball. The two midfielders ahead of them should be Foden at left centre midfield, De Bruyne right centre midfield, Bernardo at right wing, Haaland up top, and then you've got to have Gvardiol at left wing because otherwise you can't create the box midfield. You can't play the 3-2 shape. Now, hopefully there will be scope, when we're in settled off ball, when we're settled without the ball, for Ake to move to left back so he can deal with Saka. But in terms of like on ball, it's only good unless we play Rico Lewis or we play Akanji as John Stones, which I don't want us to do. It's only going to work if Gvardiol plays out on the left. And he's done that before. He did it against Spurs. He actually did it for large portions against Arsenal at the Emirates, and he was able to get into some really dangerous areas. His crossing just wasn't quite.
What formation are you guys going to play? What formation are you going to play?
So with the ball, we tend to play a 3-2-2-3 or a 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it. Without the ball, we play a 4-4-2.
So you play a 4-4-2. Basically, Julian Alvarez is in behind Erling Haaland.
No, Alvarez won't be playing. I don't think it'll be De Bruyne. That's okay. Without the ball, though. With the ball, we play so three centre backs, the two defensive midfielders ahead of them, the two offensive midfielders ahead of them, and then the three ahead of them is the left wing, right wing striker. But in that scenario, the left wing is the left back because that's how we create that four in the midfield. And you create the four in the midfield because you have more bodies in the midfield. You dominate the midfield. Arsenal do a similar thing. Like whether it's like Zinchenko inverting and tucking inside next to Rice, or whether it's Ben White. Partey did it towards the start of the season, I think. But both sides, I imagine, will be on the ball, setting up in a very similar manner.
I'm just trying to put the visual in my head of how your team is actually going to look. So obviously, I know what your spine is going to be, but what could you repeat it? Could you repeat it one more time? Obviously, you have Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, and Foden midfield. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've put a picture of it up on my Twitter if you want like a proper visualization. But so Ederson in goal, back three.
I'm going to go to your Twitter right now.
Okay. Yeah, and because that's how we've played. That's how we've played all season. Basically, that's how we played last season. We always use the box. There is a world where we just go to a flat back four, we've done it.
Why is Gvardiol up there? I'm confused.
Because he's got to be, because otherwise you don't have a left winger.
What?
This is how we regularly play. The only difference normally is that we've got Walker at right wing.
Okay, okay, I got it. This is in possession.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it was confusing me for a second because so he's basically your left back. This is your right center back. This is your left center. This is your left center back. This is your right
Yes.
center back, and this is
Yes.
your right back. Your
Yes.
two holding are Kovacic and Rodri. Foden is basically going to be on the left, but drifting into midfield. And
Yes.
then Kevin De Bruyne is going to be the other. Bernardo is going to be holding the right flank. Carvalho is going to be holding the left flank. Haaland up top. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. This without John Stones, this is all we can do, unless you want to start Rico Lewis or you want to play Kanji as John Stones. There is no other solution I can think of, or we just abandon that tactic and do go for something different. But if people need to understand, if you want to create the box, this is how we're going to have to do it, or we play Lewis or a Kanji in midfield. And I personally don't want to see that. I don't want to see a Kanji trying to be that guy in midfield.
You know what else I don't want to see? 30 minutes into the video, 66 people, but only 24 likes. What are we doing, people? Not even 24, 20 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free. Let me see if I can find an image of the Arsenal lineup that people want line up for City.
I would just say can I say to people in the chat saying like that's mad. This is how we play. This is how we've played all season. This is how we played all of last season. We play a 3-2-2-3. This isn't some sort of weird tactic that I've just come up with for the vibes. If you watch City, you will see this. This is how we play. Sometimes normally it's Walker at right wing, but Gvardio's played there as well. The Spurs game, for example, Grealish tucked into midfield and it was Gvardiol at left wing. So if people are saying like this is weird, this is a weird team, this is the norm for City.
Okay. I like the fact that you broke it down for us like that, and you basically told everything. So what is the weakness in that team?
The main weakness. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
The main weakness and the reason why I actually don't really like that system is that you've got a defender at left wing. So that's a two-pronged weakness. First of all, they're a defender, so they aren't that good creatively. As we saw at the Emirates, Gvardiol gained some brilliant positions. If there's a better crosser of the ball there, like Alphonso Davies, for example, then we create some good chances. Ultimately, Gvardiol's a centre-back, so his crossing is not that great. The second issue is one of a defensive frailty, because if you lose the ball in a less ideal area, your left back is at left wing. So it means that there's so much space for Arsenal to attack. So that is the weakness. However, every system has a weakness and needs must. Like Stones is out. I can't think of a better system to use.
Let me ask you this. On the right, we know what Saka does, but do you know on our left is actually our most threatening position on the pitch, because Arsenal create the most chances from that left pocket inside the opponent's box, from cutbacks to Odegaard or chance creation to other players. We have actually controlled our opponent's box, the left side of our opponent's box, and we're the only team in the Premier League to do so. Have you seen those graphics where they show everywhere where you're controlling on the pitch? We actually control our opponents inside our right box. So how good of a one-on-one defender is Akanji, and how do you see Bernardo Silva helping out tracking back? Because you're going to see KVR getting forward also. It's not going to be a situation where it's just the attacker who's on the left doing his own thing. You're going to have Havertz potentially drifting into that position. You're going to have Trossard potentially drifting into that position. Martinelli, if he's fit, drifting into that position. Zinchenko, if he's playing, drifting into that position. KVR drifting to that position. The area in the pitch that has the most people involved with chance creation and assists this season for Arsenal is that right defensive flank for you guys. So are you trusting your Bernardo Silva to help out defensively, or would it be Rodri that would need to fill in?
Yeah, well, one of the great things about Bernardo is that he is unbelievable from a defensive standpoint, from a pressing standpoint, when out on that flank. And that's another reason why I want Akanji to be there, because like Walker sometimes switches off where at the most crucial moments. Akanji is fantastic defending on his wrong side, never mind his correct side. And this is also why I think we need that more stable midfield duo of Rodri and Kovacic for those threats, as you say, when Arsenal have the ball. For people in the chat, asking me like why Gvardiol at left wing, why not Grealish at left wing or Doku or Bob or whoever. It's because you need a left back at left wing. Otherwise, you can't create the 3-2 shape. So that's why Bob can't play there. Otherwise, unless you think Bob can play left back, which he obviously can't. So we need that stable midfield duo, that pairing of Rodri Kovacic. It's going to be a big day for Diaz. Maybe it's another reason why I want Ake at centre back rather than left back without the ball. If you're going to be creating more so in the centre and off your left rather than your right, but there's always scope for rotation with those two. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. I'm probably mainly thinking from like threats from Arsenal. I'm mainly thinking about Havertz. To be fair,
the left back again. He might be basically.
Well, you look, that could also happen. I mean, it half worked last season. It sort of works a little bit, but then too often he had to foul Saka and eventually got booked, didn't he? Because obviously he's not a left back. But yeah, my main issue from an Arsenal perspective is probably Havertz, because he is dangerous in the air. It will be a big game for Diaz, who's not been that good in the air this season. I think that's what the stats say. But Akanji obviously is. So yeah, I'd say that maybe that's the biggest problem area from a
you know what I would say to everyone in the chat? Do me a favor. W's in the chat for Nobbins, guys. W's in the chat.
W's in the chat. W's in the chat.
Breaking it down unlike any other. Big up to you, bringing credibility to the show. I love it. Let's go to the chat quickly. People in the chat talking about predictions already. 2 games with Gavardio at left wing is the norm. What am I missing? What do you have to say about that?
It's more so the concept of playing a defender out wide as the winger. Gavardio can do it, and he has done it. When we play the 2-3-5 shape, for example, Gavardio did that again, at St James's Park against Newcastle. I think it was. We played the 2-3-5 a few times. This is what I keep saying. Like with this, I appreciate that. You look at that and you go Gavardio at left wing. Like what? That doesn't make sense. But you've got to look at it through the lens of how do we create the 3-2 build up without John Stones. You can do it in 3 ways. You can play Lewis in the Stones role. You can play Akanji in the Stones role, or you can play Gavardio in the Walker role, but on the left. Of those options, I believe that the Gavardio one is the best. Lewis has not played enough football this season to be thrown in to a must-win game against Arsenal. Akanji, as fantastic as I think he is as a defender, is not John Stones, and I do not want him to try to be John Stones against a midfield which got Declan Rice and Jorginho in it. So for me, the only option, which might not be preferable, but given that context, given the fact you've got to remember, it also pushes whoever's playing at left wing without the ball into midfield. Who's playing left wing without the ball for City? In my starting 11, Phil Foden being pushed into midfield, his best position. That's the crucial thing. So it opens up many opportunities from a City perspective. So again, it might not be ideal. We might not want it, but in my opinion, it has to happen.
Boom. Big up, everyone. Do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free. We should be at least on 60 plus likes right now. Do me that favor. You know what? I might do a combined 11 with somebody else later, but let me just ask you. Ederson, Raya is not a discussion, obviously. We're going to put Ederson there. Right? Obviously, right? No question.
Of course.
But then when it comes to right back, would you put Ben White over anybody you've had this season?
How liberal are we being with these positions? Are we putting in just 4 defenders, or for example, when we get to left back, does it have to be a left back?
This is how we're gonna do it. I'm actually giving you left back. You can have whoever you want in left back.
Well, that's not so. If we're being very liberal with the positions, then I want Akanji at left back.
Okay, fair. So I'm gonna put Ben White.
That's fine.
Benjamin White, it should be there. And then you want Akanji?
Yeah, because I think Akanji's been our best defender.
Okay. Centre back pairing. I'm not going to lie to you. Ruben Diaz is not in. I think it's Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba, based on the fact that they've been two of the best players in the I think they've been 2 of the best 10 players this season in the league. I don't know if Ruben Diaz has been on either Gabriel Magalhaes or Saliba's level this season. Do you have a case for him?
I do not. The only player who I would have a case for is John Stones, but he's not been fit enough and hasn't played enough football, so I can't argue with either of those two. I think that's the correct back 4.
Okay, fair. I think Akanji has been your best defender, but usually people just slot Ake in there because I don't know how many games Akanji actually played at left back. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, it's very minimal, but I know he can play there, and Akanji just should be in the team.
Have a good one, Rodney. Sorry, bro. This is not a call-in show. This is a private conversation between me and the boys. But next time when I do a call-in show, I'll definitely introduce you guys into the show. Do me a favor, guys. Continue to like the video and let me know in the chat. You can also super chat to change it if you want to, but only at the end. In the midfield, I would actually go Rodri and Declan Rice based on their performances this
I
season.
agree.
The final position is where we can have some debate. People would say Martin Odegaard. People would say put Phil Foden there. People would say put anybody else in there that you can think of. But to me, I would actually put Odegaard and put Phil Foden on the left. What do you think about that?
Well, but Foden's only played 2 games on the left and hasn't been that good when he's played on the left.
How many games has Akanji played on the left?
Yeah, but we both know he can play there and it not impacting his game. Foden can't play out wide and not impact his game. Give me Foden in the middle because that's where he's played his best football this season. He's been our best player. Or I can have Foden on the right, where he has played some good football.
But Saka's there.
Well, you better give me Foden in the middle then, because Foden's making this team.
No. I'll give it to you. I think Foden has been better than Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, let's pop him in the middle. Get in. I get my dream.
You're getting guys. This is more your combined 11. I'm just kind of helping you fill it out with my thoughts also. I think if I did my
sorry, so do you think Odegaard's been better than Foden this season?
I think there's nobody who's actually been that good that can play on the left for either of our teams, and it makes more sense to put Foden there and to have a player who's actually played well in Martin Odegaard in there, and then fill out the team that way because we know who's going up top. It's not a debate. It's just the debate is has there been anybody good enough to perform that can perform that can go in this left wing for you? Because to me, Trossard is the only option, and to me, I would rather have Odegaard in this team than Trossard. Martinelli has not been that good this season.
Okay, that's reasonable. I'll accept that.
Doku has not been that good in my opinion. Jack Grealish has been injured a lot.
Yes.
Who else is there? Jesus doesn't really play on the left, and even when he has played, he's been injured, and he's not really a left winger. He's a striker. If the only other possibility is if we put Kai Havertz on the left,
I don't hate that.
So would you put Kai Havertz or Odegaard in this team?
No, Odegaard has been better, definitely. If we were sticking to positions and being very strict, then I would say Foden has to play in the middle. But if we're being more liberal, then fine. We can have Foden on the left and Odegaard in the middle. That's fine. But I will maintain that Foden has been better than Odegaard. If I just want to let that be known. If it was one or the other, Foden has been better for me.
You want to know something? Do you think Foden's been the top 3 players this season in the league?
I think he's been City's best player.
So based on that, yes?
I don't know. I'd have Van Dijk over him.
Would you have Gabriel Magalhaes over him?
I'd certainly have Declan Rice over him.
Saka?
Definitely not Saka. No, Saka's not even been your 3rd best player.
No, so I would say Gabriel Magalhaes and Rice have been our 2 best players.
Rice, Gabriel, Saliba.
You know what? I would actually put Saliba below Saka.
Really?
Yeah. Because people don't realize Saka constantly gets us late winners, constantly is getting us impactful goals or assists late in games. Saliba's been good, but he's not been as good as Saka. Saka's performances really go under the radar because he might not get you. He's kind of transformed more into an end product guy and less of somebody who is really running the game the whole time because they're doubling up, tripling up on him. He's just passing it out. And then when you need that crucial moment, Brentford gets you the assist. That crucial moment against another team like Everton gets you the assist. When you need a goal to open the game, he gets you that goal. And it kind of goes unnoticed because the rest of the game just goes by. And the standout performers are the Rices, the Odegaards, the Gabriel Magalhaes, who are constantly impacting the 90 minutes. But Saka is the difference maker. And we are not nowhere near where we are without Havertz, obviously, Saka. But they're just not controlling the game. They're not running the game from minute one to the end, but they're still making a massive impact. And it's kind of like the people who talk about just GA, oh, he's just getting goals and assists. Well, those goals and assists are leading to us winning games consistently.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree, to be honest. I actually think the opposite. I think that I'm more impressed with a player who runs a game and doesn't necessarily get a goal and assist, rather than a player who doesn't necessarily play fantastically well throughout a game, but nevertheless still scores or gets an assist. Because I'm personally more interested in a player's performance rather than their end output most instances. Sometimes output is so high that it's impossible to ignore, like a Haaland, for example, or a Salah. But in terms of like performances this season, I think I've probably been more impressed with. By the way, I'm not saying Saka's been bad. Let's make no mistake about that. Saka's been very good this season. But I do think that I could maybe name three, maybe four Arsenal players who I think have been better for you across this season.
Okay, let me ask you this. We did a top 10 the other day in the Premier League. Obviously, we don't want to divert too far off, but if you want to redo this order, how would you change it? We had Van Dijk. We did a whole show on this. We had Van Dijk, Declan Rice, Foden. Then we had Gabriel Magalhaes, Rodri. And then we had the likes of Ollie Watkins, Cole Palmer, Saka 8th, Salah 9th, McAllister 10th. Would you change any of these?
I like the top three. I think that is probably my top three as well, to be fair. I think that's what do I think? 1, 2. I think Saliba should be in this top 10, but that's just me. I think you could even make a case for Ødegaard as well. But I think most of those players are probably about right. To be fair, I think most of that's fine. Maybe Salah's a bit low actually, but I think for the most part that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Again, I think the top three is correct. I like you've got Foden over Rodri. I think that most people take umbrage when I say that, but I think he has been better than Rodri this season.
Yeah, and we got the man of the hour, LB, in the building, Mr. Manchester City. Always seeing him doing the reactions. We're gonna see him doing a video where he's doing this nervous just before the game. I know he will. But yeah, right now he's looking confident. How you feeling, LB, man?
Yeah, good man. Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, chilling. Like, well, not chilling. Like just what will be. Like, no one really knows. I'm confident as I can be with this situation. We're in decent form, but not playing great. You guys are playing good and are in good form. Like, probably the best two teams in the country. I know Liverpool are above us in the league, but I feel like we are still better than them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game.
100%. I remember I was watching one of your watch-alongs. You were saying March, I'm worried. You might come out of March spotless.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That is wild. If that's true, but yeah, like, listen, Arsenal are a great team. You know what I mean? Arsenal are a very good team, and Arsenal, despite having a terrible record at the Etihad, could come to City and win. They can come to City and win, but they're going to have to show something that they've not shown before, which is be the better side, because we play the same football, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, there's little differences, but we like, it's not like City and Liverpool where we play completely different football, or City and Conte when he was at Chelsea. Like, we play the same football, and like, we typically win because we're better than you, whereas you close that gap on us now. But you're coming to the Etihad, you know what I mean? And yeah, like, we've got a great record there, so I'm hoping that
how long have you been undefeated at the Etihad?
I don't know, Nobbins, what you reckon?
Brentford 2-1. Which was last season
year
in December
2022. It was, because it was just before Qatar.
Yes, and the last time we failed to score in the league at home was Southampton, so 3 years ago, I think.
Damn.
Wow, that's crazy.
You want to know something? I'm not going into this game as worried as I was in the past, obviously, because I feel like my team is a lot better. Where last year, guys, I don't know if you guys seen me, but I was going into the game kind of blind faith, just hoping. I'm like, how do I put my faith in Rob Holding to try to get a win away at the Etihad? It was never going to happen. But this time, going there with a relatively fit squad, defensively, I feel like we're the better team. I don't know about you guys. I feel like you guys have the experience and the know-how, and you guys know how to see our games. But where we can catch you. I feel like where we can catch you is now that we have a better overall balance to our squad. We can see out games a lot better. If we do get a lead, I back this team to shut out and keep the game close. And we have had Erling Haaland quiet for the last couple of years, the last 2 games where we played him. When we played him in the Community Shield and in the league, we kept him quiet. So maybe we have a solution on how to keep him quiet. So you guys need to fix up with how you're going to play with him.
My counter to that would be he did create a big chance at the Emirates. The only big chance of the game, actually.
Who did it fall to?
Ake, I think. It was like the 5th minute. Do you remember that one? It was like very early on. I think it started from a corner, ball came back out, crossed in. Gabriel and Haaland both went up for it in the air. Haaland won that aerial duel, fell to Ake, and he just skied it over.
You know what? I've never seen LB like this. He's so serious, so concentrated, no laughing, no joking. I can definitely tell you're not playing around this week, man. You're like,
well, you can't play around, bro. This is serious business. You know what I mean? I think City got to win the game. I think if City lose,
must win
I think
time.
it's going to be very difficult for us to win the Premier League if we lose. So it's time for my team to step up. You know what I mean? And this is it. It's basically a cup final for me. So let's say a draw. A draw's not great. It's not terrible. It's just is what it is. It just prolongs the situation. But here's the thing. This is why I'm desperate for us to win, because I think if we win, we'll win the league.
I go with that. Yeah.
You think you lose, you're done?
Pretty much.
Practically.
There's a chance that we could do it, but like I just don't see it. I don't see it's not. This is what other City. When I say this, City fans don't understand it. It's not that I don't think that we couldn't go on and win like 7 out of 9 games remaining, which would be fantastic. You know, winning 7 out of 9, that's really good. But it's like, are we going to overtake? So that means what? You guys would have to like lose 4 or drop points in like 3 matches or some shit like that. Like I just don't see it happening. I just think it'd be very, very difficult to win the league if we lose. Very difficult. It's doable. It's not out of the realms of possibility, but it's just difficult. If we win the league, though, don't be surprised if we go and win the next 9 and just clean up.
Hey, you're fully capable of it. We've seen your run. We actually have it. I actually have it somewhere here. Let me pull it up. Do you guys believe you guys have the easiest run? Because I've been talking to City fans and they've been telling me, "Oh, we have a hard run," like Hamza and stuff, telling me you guys think you guys have a hard run. I want to know what you guys honestly believe. Have you guys seen your run? You know what it is?
Yeah, I think Liverpool have the easiest run out of the 3 because of the fact they don't play City or Arsenal.
Yeah,
City and Arsenal play each other, so we definitely have the harder runs, but it's marginal, right? It's marginal, like it's very, very, very small. Like I think Liverpool just about have the easier run.
Where do you think you could potentially slip up if you obviously went on to maybe you think you could drop points somewhere? Where would it be outside of the Arsenal game? Because obviously everyone's talking about the title race, talking about the last 10 games, and City going undefeated all the time, but like, do you think you could potentially drop points outside of the Arsenal game anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, like we play Spurs away. We still haven't scored there in the league. We play Brighton away. They're no jokes. If they turn up, that's not going to be an easy game. Even Forest away, like we drew there last season. Like people like look at that easy 3 points for City. It's not necessarily. Again, like we drew there like 1-1. So yeah, there's definitely a couple of chances and a couple of tricky games. I even home against Aston Villa. That is not going to be easy. They beat us this season. Like these are not givens. And I think that people look at City and go, "Oh, they'll win that. They'll win that. They'll win that." It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Nor has it been that simple or straightforward this whole season.
You know what? I like the fact that you guys are showing us this much respect. I feel like going into the game, the online chatter is Man City. They're going to just take it game by game, and obviously this is just another game for them. But you guys are really focused, and your team is going to be really taking it serious. I just felt like
it's make or break time.
I know that, but to some people, it's just like City. They always do this against Arsenal. They're going to find a way to beat Arsenal, and they're kind of mugging us off. I feel like this is the first time I've spoken to LB, and he's kind of like, "Yo, I'm worried about Arsenal," you know.
Yeah, but this is the first time you've deserved that. With all due respect, I'm not trying to wind Arsenal fans up in the chat, but like last year, like I think deep down, most people thought that we would just slap you up, just because I think we all knew. I mean, we were saying it all season. Arsenal collapse at some point. Arsenal collapse at some point. And granted, you got a lot further than everyone expected, but ultimately, like you collapsed and we smashed you. Now Now that's not the case. You're a different team than you was last year. And like, whilst it was painful, I imagine for Arsenal fans to lose the title the way you did, like you've defo learned from that. You've defo learned from that, and you defo improved. You know what I mean? You're much more resilient in football matches. You've cut out a lot of the nonsense, emotional huddle FC. I'm not saying you cut it out completely. You'll still do it. We do huddles, but like last year, you could tell last year it was a team that didn't really. No, seriously, last year you could tell it was a team that didn't really know how to win the league.
Yeah,
like them constant huddles. It was embarrassing. You was getting laughed at, man. We was all laughing. It was like, what's Zinchenko doing? You know, I mean, constantly getting the team in huddles after every time you conceded a goal. It was weird. This year you look like a serious team. Like, and I don't think anyone can deny that. And you're top of the league for a reason, because you've been the best team this year. So it's about whether or not you can go take that next step, which is coming to the Etihad and getting a result. No, you don't have to draw. You can still win the league if you draw. But like, if you come to City and win, I think that not only that puts you in prime control of the Prem, I think Champions League then as well, you become a serious threat in the Champions League.
We beat City. We're the favorites to win the league, and we should go on to win it. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Heart and head, what are your predictions going into the game?
So, and obviously heart is that we managed to get the win like we always do when it comes to crunch time. Head says that because both teams need to win, because I think it's a must-win for both sides. It's there, and because both sides are good, the most likely result is a scored draw. So I've gone for, as in my opinion, it should have been a draw at the Emirates. I think both managers coached a draw ultimately. I think it'll be a similar thing. Look, maybe there'll be like a fortunate goal for either side, but I foresee it as being very tight. Neither side wanting to lose the game. 1-0.
1-0. Wow. People in the chat, let me know your predictions. Let me see your predictions before we go. LB, you can close it out. Let me know. I'm going to tell you guys mine at the end also, of course. But I want to know what you think, man. What is your heart telling you, and what is your head telling you is going to happen?
I think it'll be a 2-1 City win. You will definitely score. Yeah, because we can't keep clean sheets. But I do feel that we will, with Kevin De Bruyne folding in the team, I do feel we'll create a few chances, and I'm backing the team to score those chances. And I've gone for a 2-1 City win. I think it's going to be a tight affair, and I think you will score, but City will just pip you and get the 3 points. 2-1 City, I'm going to go for.
So your heart and your head are in line with the same prediction.
Yeah, like literally, that's what I'm going for. So that's how I see the game playing out. Real tight affair. I think we'll probably create more clearer opportunities than you, whether or not we take them.
You want to know something? Anfield away, I didn't expect to come out of there with 3 points. And Etihad away, I don't expect to get 3 points. I think I'm going into this game. If we can get the 3 points and we're in a position to win the game late, amazing. Get a goal and get out of there somehow with 3 points. If you get out of there with 3 points, we go on to win the league. But I think this game is going to end in a draw. And I think the reason why it's going to end in a draw is going to be the pressure from both teams trying to go and get a winner. And the knowing that if you go on to try to get that winner, you could somehow concede in the back end and lose the game. I think Arsenal is going to play a little bit more conservative at the Etihad. I think the onus is going to be on you guys to go push for a winner if it's close. The onus is going to be on you guys to go and push for that late goal to try to break us and finish the game. I think if it's late, I'm not saying we're going to play for the draw, but I'm going to say our priority will be do not concede at the end, where your onus will be no matter what, try to come out of there with a win. Because right now, we're in the advantage. We're at the top of the league. I know Liverpool are currently level on points with us, but if we find a way where we lose this game, we bring you back in the fold. Even if we draw, you guys still don't really come back into the fold for the title for the title race in the top spot. It still hurts you guys. Where a draw for us away at the Etihad, let's be honest, 4 points against City for the whole season, I'll take that. I would have bite your hand off for that at the beginning of the season. So I'm going with the Desmond 2-2. Goal scored from both teams, and I just think it's going to be a back and forth. And then to close it out, it's going to be KG and Arsenal. We're just going to shut up shop. We're not going to go and we're not going to let ourselves get exposed. Because I don't know, would you guys chase the game at Anfield? Would you chase the game at the Emirates if you guys were drawing, or would you just try to hold on to it? Because to me, I don't know. I still see you guys as a superior team, even though this season we've been better.
I don't think Arteta would like necessarily, if it was like, the 85th minute, I don't think he'd be like, right, guys, come on, let's commit loads of bodies forwards and potentially expose ourselves. I think that'll be foolish. I think at that point he'd be like, right, we played well, we're in the game. Let's, if we can nick a goal on the counter or whatever, that's fine. But yeah, let's just. There's still like 9 games left to go. We're still in a good position. Got a superior goal difference to Liverpool. A point's fine. We can. Liverpool will drop points at some point. We've just got to drop less points.
Yeah, Liverpool will drop points at some point. And you know what? One other thing I noticed about you guys this year, because it's a 3-horse race, you feel a lot more like I see a lot more like what do you call it? Nerves from you guys. I haven't seen you guys this nervous before last year. Last year I felt like you guys were like cool, calm. You knew you were gonna win. I just knew you guys were gonna win the way you guys were speaking to me. I can tell right now you're a lot more nervous, a lot more serious, and I just like it because it makes me feel better. It gives me some more validation that my team is going in the right direction. When I see people, I
also don't like it.
Yeah, obviously you don't like it, but yeah, LB man, I appreciate you jumping on. I know you got a busy schedule today, and of course Nubbins also. Big up to you guys for jumping on and doing this. If you guys ever need me on your channel, let me know. I'll always be available. And people, do check out the links to their channel. The links are in the title of the video. Go check out LB's channel. You got a video coming up, bro?
No, I've got a recording with Dan Potts later, but I don't think I'm going to put that out tonight because Big Six is on, man, so no one will watch it. So I'll probably put it up tomorrow.
Okay, so you got an upload coming up tomorrow. And Nubbins, you got anything coming up before the match?
Not before the match, but I will be doing my post-match, my post-mortems, either after the match, probably the next morning, and there will no doubt be like a 10-minute analysis video on like how I thought the game went and although if we lose, I might be too depressed and might not want to do it. So we'll see.
So there you go. You got 1-1 from Nubbins. You got a 2-2 from me, and LBUM was the 2-1 City, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's your predictions, guys. And if you guys want, and if anything, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And if you've been watching up to this level and you haven't hit the like button, please do hit that like button. We're out of here, people. You guys have yourselves a wonderful Thursday night. Peace.